Hello and welcome to the MMA Split News, a new section, new type of videos that we will be doing weekly as their own separate thing on the MMA Split channel. We used to kind of talk about the news a little bit as we did breakdowns, and to be honest, it always felt a little rushed, so we're giving it its own section. It's not necessarily going to be something we commit to every single week. It will really be when there's kind of enough things that we want to talk about that we can kind of delve into that merit the video being made. Please let us know if you enjoy that, if you're enjoying it being part of its own video, or if you want it connected to the main podcast. Leave a like as always, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Even if the comments are negative, feel free to drop a comment as well. With that out of the way, I am of course joined by producer Josh, and we've got some pretty big fight announcements to talk about. Admittedly, a little late to the party since they happened last week, but since we record on a Monday or a Tuesday, a lot of this happened after we'd already done the recording. First, let's list through the big fights that have been announced. UFC 279, we have got Nate Diaz fighting on the last fight of his contract, probably his last fight in the UFC, being fed to the number 3 ranked welterweight contender, Khamzat Chimaev, in a fight that makes absolutely no sense and will be headlining a non-title fight, headlining pay-per-view main event.
Do you want to touch on them fight by fight? So I'd quite like to jump in here.
Oh, we can do that. I was just going to run through all quickly and then go back and sort of go into detail, but we can certainly do that. So starting with the first fight, since it's the first one we're going to see.
I like it.
UFC 279 no longer has Aljo versus TJ. That is being pushed to 280. Obviously, you can't have a title fight as a co-main event when non-title fight main event. Completely understand. You like the fight?
Yeah, I like the fight.
I hate the fight.
I didn't like the fight. I think they were looking at booking it before the Li Jingliang fight, but I kind of see it as explosivity against durability. They're never going to do the Conor McGregor trilogy for Nate. You know, he's not going to sign another contract on the money that he was on. He's not going to take a pay cut. He'll go get paid somewhere else, or he'll do something else, and it would look pretty good, and it's going to put some extra digits on his next paycheck if he has a good moment against Chimaev. If he manages to rock him, threaten him with a submission at any point, most likely I think Chimaev's just going to get him down and tap him out quite early on in the first round. There's just too much of a size difference, but you know, fuck it, it's your last fight. No one wants to fight this guy. Just kind of adds to the allure of the Diaz brothers as these fight anyone anytime, don't give a fuck. I'm not surprised. I kind of like it.
That's your viewpoint.
Who would you rather see Nate fight before his contract runs out?
Tony Ferguson, Dan Hooker, Dustin Poirier. I'd want to see him fight a 155er that's fighting him at 170. The issue I have isn't with him fighting a number 3 ranked guy. It's that we've just seen that when he fights a real welterweight, he is too fucking small. Maybe not in height, maybe not in reach, but his 170 isn't a welterweight 170. It's a I haven't had to cut weight, and maybe I didn't train quite as hard. I didn't focus on the nutrition quite as hard because I just know I've got sick cardio, and that's not going to be an issue, and I've got plenty of wiggle room to play with. He's fighting a middleweight, dude. He's fighting a middleweight that, thanks to perseverance and nutrition, miraculously weighs 170 pounds for approximately 5 minutes, 3 times a year at maximum. Nate Diaz probably weighs 170 after a fucking morning triathlon.
No, he is bigger. It's not like 10 years ago when he was getting ragdolled by Rory McDonald. But yeah, he's going to be fighting at about 180. Chimaev will probably be a little over 200. I think he's really going to cut that much weight. It's not going to go well, but Chimaev doesn't fight smart. Diaz is durable. There's the potential there that we could get a round or two of something. I'm sure. I don't think Diaz can win this fight, but it's his last fight, man. Like, what? They're not going to give him a relevant fight. It's a fight that his camp asked for. You know, if Diaz goes, I want to fight your biggest monster in this weight class coming up. It's my last fight. I'm not re-signing. Why would the UFC say no? Chimaev was never going to say no. I didn't like this fight when I thought that maybe they could work something out with Nate. When Chimaev wasn't, he had all the hype, but he didn't have the win over Dorino. You know, now, and Li Jingliang. Now he's much more legitimized.
I
It's
would have accepted this after Lee. After Gilbert Burns, you can't. You have a duty of care to not put fighters in fights where they do not have a chance of winning and could get seriously hurt or killed. He's not doing that with Nate. It's a blood sacrifice. It's a way to absorb as much of the hype that Nate Diaz and the Diaz brothers have and transfer it across to their new boy Hamza before they lose Nate as a cash cow. And for what he's given for the company financially, for the fact that they are where they are financially because of him, I think it's to not give him a reasonable fight that he has a chance of winning. I think is a fucking disgrace.
I don't think the talent disparity is that big. I think this fight is a lot closer than other people think, but I still see Chimaev. Um, I still see him winning the fight. I don't think Nate's in any
I
danger
hope
of
you're
actually
right.
getting mauled or killed. Nate doesn't
I
really
hope
get
you're right.
mauled.
I really hope you're right. I really do. But I've just got a bad feeling about it. It doesn't sit well with me. And I think that the injuries we've had in the last 2 weeks of the MMA gods being angry at us.
True, but I don't hate this fight at all. I like it.
Because they can't be angry about the other fights they booked. This was the one fight that I'm like, that doesn't sit well with me. There's another fight that I'm like, okay, that just makes no sense and that's weird, but like, I can kind of understand the logic. Every other fight they booked, I'm like, that's a great fight.
Okay, but if it was Nate Diaz Chimaev, or we've already seen Nate's last fight and that's it, and he just times out on his contract, what would you have preferred?
I pick option C. I pick an aging lightweight fighting a welterweight.
So I think his contract's up in October or November. So they've deliberately not offered any fights up until this point of the year to strong arm Nate. Nate's camp have come out and asked for the Chimaev fight, so it's like to get all parties on board for a fight before that date would be difficult. I guess I would prefer a different fun fight, but I don't know. And if Nate does pull off a freaky sub, shit, I won't be surprised, motherfuckers.
Well, I'll be cheering on him all the way. We had talked week previous, I believe, about Charles Oliveira versus Makhachev. Great fight, great main event. 280 is looking seriously stacked because it's got that as the main event. TJ versus Aljo is the co-main event. Jan versus O'Malley on the main card of 280. What's your thoughts on that fight? In principle, I'll just say quickly, it didn't make too much sense to me at first. But then when you look that every other guy in the top 10 has a fight booked or is unable to fight right now, it is literally the only fight you could make if the guys wanted to fight each other.
Yeah, for Jan it makes sense. For O'Malley, I hate having to talk about this one without Sly's angry little face right there. I have no idea how good O'Malley is because every time he's booked against top competition, we don't get to the end of the fight properly. So against Chito Vera, didn't really get to see where his talent level was. Against Munoz, didn't get to see where his talent level really was. I know that O'Malley can get Jan to bite on a few fakes, but is he going to work him well enough after that? Is he going to be able to do something with those split moments? Jan's a beast. O'Malley is very quick, but his lateral movement, the way he just kind of slips out, sometimes he gets a little lazy, feints right, goes left, but kind of left a bit of space there that a more educated fighter could have cut him off. And I think Jan is that guy. Jan is going to be able to win that footwork battle. How fast is O'Malley? I don't know.
I don't feel that we're looking at this in the right way.
Go on.
It's not about whether or not O'Malley is good enough. It's that when you have a guy whose entire career has been fighting aging Eddie Winelands, solid fighters, but fairly new, unranked, decent, Julian Pivers, Chris Moutinho's, tough, but not really at your level. And then the first real jump up you have is a kind of weird round against Pedro Nunes that doesn't get going. The Chito Vera fight before he was really ranked. And then suddenly you're going to go fight the former champ. It's like, even if he is good enough, just the fact that he has to make such a step up, there will be so many things that he is used to working in a fight that will not work. Things that usually he can get away with that he won't get away with. And there's no progression there. It's such a quick step. And in terms of stylistically, and then I'll pass the floor on to you, I haven't seen Peter Yan struggle with height. Height didn't bother him against Sandhagen. Reach didn't bother him against Sandhagen. It took him about a round to find his moment, and then he was just deadly. The thing that seems to have tripped him up is wrestling. That's what frustrates him. That's what can turn the tide against him. It's what led to his disqualification loss due to frustration before he was in the UFC. It's in many ways what you could argue led to the illegal knee is the frustration of just that type of fight happening and not really being able to land clean and get the guy out there. And then obviously it lost him the rematch against Aljo. It was having the guy on his back. I don't see somebody who isn't going to be offering a wrestling threat, and is going to be coming in there with just striking, giving Jan a problem. I just don't.
Well, yeah, stylistic, it's really going to be... can O'Malley, when it counts, really sharpen up his fight IQ? Because he loves getting his back all the way to the fence and then just laterally darting out left or right very quickly. And he's really, really good at just throwing little feints that it doesn't even have to be close enough. Sometimes he just drops the shoulder like he's going to throw a spinning kick or something. You could do it from a little far out and it still kind of gets the guy to freeze. So if you can get a guy to take a stutter step and then capitalise with that lightning 1-2 and get out again, all the tools I've seen, if he's able to put it together at a very high level, if he's able to put it to a level that now matches his pay grade, because he has been bumped up on the contract, that's why this fight's happening. Very interesting. My suspicion is that he's probably not quite there yet, and Jan is just going to keep cutting him off and making him eat shit, but we'll see. Sly's very excited for this one. Sly thinks there's no way he doesn't win, and
280 is literally going to be fucking Sly's dick-sucking card.
Yeah, what's this going to be like 2 or 3 leagues away for us, including this one?
280's in October. Yeah, we might be in the next league. But he's got Oliveira, O'Malley. He's got some solid dick to ride. He's got his favourite dicks to ride. He'll be a happy boy.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to maybe not the big highlight fights that have been announced, but certainly some fucking great matchups. And fair play, full respect to Beneil Dariush first and foremost for taking this fight, because they've matched Dariush for his sin of getting injured. He no longer gets the Makhachev fight, which would have got him a title shot. He now has to fight number 8 ranked Gamrot. And I hate this fight. For Dariush, man. I wanted to see how he dealt with Makhachev. But with Gamrot, I think Gamrot might be a better striker than Dariush as well. And that's the kind of thing where I look at that and just think, I don't think you've got an avenue where I say you are definitely better than your opponent. It is possible that you're going to be fighting somebody who is younger, faster, stronger, better, on the ground, on the feet. Maybe your jiu-jitsu is better, but I just worry that his pressure and grappling is going to kind of negate a lot of that.
Yeah, it's kind of more of the same though for Benny. He's very rarely the better striker or the faster guy or the stronger guy or the younger guy, but he puts things together really well. And the one thing that he struggles with is people that are able to make elite reads in MMA, like Barbosa. If he goes back to the well for a 3rd or 4th time on a combination or a takedown entry, he can get hit. But he comes in with a good game plan, and he comes in with a variety of options that he's going to keep spamming that are solid combinations, solid takedown entries, solid clinch work. He's always a very hard guy to beat. There's not really a lot of fights for Dariush where I'm like, yep, heavy favourite. I like him in this fight, but he's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
got that
yeah.
option to kind of knock people out. He's got to fight someone. Gamrot's a monster, but they've uncovered every stone at 155 right now. Okay, unless you're fighting McGregor, you haven't got an easy fight. That's kind of the only kind of fluff in the rankings right now. So yeah, fuck it, winning you're in. As far as I'm concerned, he wins this one. He makes a good case for if Makhachev, because I'm picking Oliveira in this, but if Makhachev was to win, why not rebook it maybe? I mean, if Benny D just keeps winning,
Yeah, that's true. It's a hell of a fight. It's a hell of a fight.
yeah,
Just a reminder for the audience, again, watching, if you're wondering why I'm suddenly doing weird facial tics or stuff like that, I've got a monster toothache. We're recording 3 different videos today. I'm going to have to mention it on each video, otherwise everyone thinks I'm going crazy. Last fight announced. This is going to be a bit of a grappler's delight, but for the true technicians out there, it is a really interesting welterweight matchup. Sean Brady finally has an opponent. He is taking on Bilal Muhammad. It is safe to say that Sean Brady is not the opponent that Bilal Muhammad had in mind. My God, did he try and campaign to fight somebody higher ranked than him. I mean, he called out fucking everybody. He called out Colby in his post-fight speech after beating Luke Hay. He called out Masvidal. He tried to fight Gilbert Burns. He tried to fight Hamza. I actually thought the Hamza fight might happen for a hot minute. In the end, he is fighting Sean Brady. And this is a really interesting one because I kind of thought Sean Brady might run through everybody until he came up against Chiesa and beat him. But didn't beat him as convincingly as I thought he might have done. And so it has raised that kind of question. Josh, what's your thoughts on this one? Because it's obviously very similar skill sets. I'd say Bilal more well-rounded.
yeah, Bilal definitely more well-rounded. Um, Look, if Bilal can keep 2 rounds on the feet, I don't really see how Brady could win this one. But if Brady gets a takedown early on in the fight, it's not just lay and pray. He's going to do some damage as well, and it's going to get tough for Bilal. I like it.
Well,
Honestly, I really like it because win or lose, both guys are in a position to kind of further credentialize themselves at 170. Okay, neither guy is someone anyone's going to view as a gatekeeper anytime soon. These are both guys that you kind of see pushing to make a title run. Bilal's people weren't behind him at first, but I think they're getting behind him now. Not as much as Brady.
The question I've got for Bilal in this fight is I've never seen him be the guy trying to keep the fight standing. I don't know what that looks like. So much of Bilal is everything mixed into this forward grind.
Well, when I say standing, what I mean is Brady's going to have his back to the fence. Bilal's going to have his head in his chest. And it's just going to be lots of elbows from Brady and dirty boxing from Bilal and knees and foot stomps. And he's going to try and keep that position for approximately 4.5 minutes a round.
When you put it like that, it's a good test for Bilal. I'll tell you why. Where he's at the moment, you need to be able to handle the wrestling of somebody like Sean Brady if you really think that you're going to have an opportunity to fight and beat Gilbert Burns, Usman, Leon Edwards, Covington. No disrespect to Bilal. I'm sure he's improved since his fight. And I know that it got stopped in the second round due to the eye poke and the no contest. Shit happens. But for a round and a half, it did look like Leon Edwards was absolutely outclassing him.
Yes, it's probably the best Leon's ever looked.
Yeah. It's that performance that gives me hope for the Usman fight. Bilal needs to beat Brady. It's a good test. It's a very good test. The thing about Brady is he can't really strike. I'm sure it's improving, but if Michael Chiesa outstrikes you, it's not a great look.
Yeah. I mean, well, Chiesa's all right if you don't move too much. He can look pretty sharp with his hands. The second you start moving, though, yeah. Shit. I like it though. Good fight. Have we gone through all the fights for 280?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's so I think 280 main card is set. We've got Jan O'Malley opening it up. I think then it's going to be Muhammad versus Brady. feature fight almost certainly is going to be Dariush versus Gamrot, and then they've got title fight co-main event, main event. And obviously, the benefit of doing it this way, God forbid, Oliveira gets injured, Makhachev gets injured, they're going to have one of those other guys slot in for the vacant title fight. When you put it like that, though, it does make you realize Oliveira is in a very precarious position. He needs to make sure he is at that fight because everyone's still saying you're the champ now, but you haven't got the belt, and it only takes one injury, one thing that doesn't happen, and you're going to see somebody else in that title slot 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if anything happens, Charles is just going to fight injured because you might as well.
Pretty much. That's all the fight announcement stuff out the way, as far as I can think off the top of my head. That's the big ones, anyway. Should we talk about Rakic getting sucker punched by
Poster boy Jimi Manuwa.
Manuwa, that's the name.
Yeah.
That's the one. So the only thing I know about this is the video that Rakic posted back in his hotel. Where he said, "Yeah, I was at the fight. Security were going through my seat. I had to squeeze past Jimi Manuwa. I just squeezed past him. I heard him say something. I didn't pay attention to it. And then the next thing I know, he sucker punches me. But he's so shit. He starts saying he's so shit that he misses and just catches me with his forearm. And then spends the next 40 seconds basically just saying, I retired you. I'm so in your head that you can't even deal with it." What's your thoughts on this one, Josh?
So
have you heard any other
more about
information?
it? Yeah, so obviously Rakic did retire Manuwa. First round head kick KO, 50k bonus. And Manuwa famously gets on with a lot of his opponents that have beaten him. Stays friendly with all of them. Rakic is not on that list. Rakic was trolling him for months afterwards, saying shit like, yeah, like you need some money, I've got like 50 bags right here if you need something. Look at everything I'm buying with that money I got for knocking you out. And just generally being a bit of an obnoxious cunt. Now, we've talked about it with a few different fighters. Colby Masvidal. Shit, the other ones just dropped completely out of my mind. It's not okay to be going around hitting people. You can't be hitting people. That being said, Jimi Manuwa did say, next time I see you, I'm giving you a fucking slap. And as Rakic is leaving the event, Manuwa's on the end of the row, so he has to walk past him. So the reason he felt like a forearm hitting him across the neck is because Manuwa slapped him from behind. Jimi Manuwa's come clean on that. Said, yeah, I told him he was going to get slapped, so I don't know how the fuck he figures that's a sucker punch. He knew it was coming. It doesn't make it okay. You shouldn't have done that, Jimmy.
But a slap's different from a punch, though. A slap is different from a punch.
It is. It is.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
You should not be hitting
It
people.
is the principle. No.
And fucking Jimmy has only dropped a little bit in my esteem. Rakic has dropped a fair bit there. I'm not too impressed with the way he's handled. Firstly, that Jimmy fight, and now this incident.
Yeah, when you put it in that context, and I did think the video was weird. It's like, okay, a dude slapped you, man. That sucks. I know, and it's not a good look because you only had surgery 6 weeks ago. It's not like you're at your fighting fit defending, so I can understand all of that. That being said, that's now two fighters that are pretty chilled with most of the people they fight, even the ones that have beaten them, as long as they're not dicks. We fucking hate Rakic. Anthony Smith fucking hates Rakic. Absolutely hates him. And Anthony Smith is a pretty fucking sound dude. You know, he's not a crying over spilt milk kind of guy. He still fucking speaks the world of Glover. And Glover hellaciously beats him. If you can be okay with a man beating you like that, it always seemed weird to me. Like, why does somebody who's such a cool guy fucking hate Rakic so much? Now that there's two people, yeah, it's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. Like,
yeah.
To go back to the Masvidal Colby thing, and it's kind of repeating the words we said there. It's obviously not okay to hit people, but in the same way, if you're a professional fighter and you get slapped by another professional fighter, obviously it's not okay, but like, do you need to call the police? Do you need to go on YouTube and do a bitch moan video about it? Like, you're a pro fighter, you get hit all the time, you know, it didn't hit you clean, shit happens. I don't know. But then again, if I got slapped by some dude, I'd be pissed off about it. So
Yeah,
it's,
but if I was a massive cunt to him first and he told me he was going to slap me the next time he laid eyes on me, I wouldn't just kind of walk past him casually like that wasn't going to be a fucking problem. Not
blanked him
again,
flop.
not condoning like, and this isn't. It's not Alex's fault. He got hit. Okay, he was a cunt. That is what it is. Jimmy shouldn't have hit him. I'm not trying to say that any part of this is Alex's fault, but I don't like the way you've gone about that, and I have way less respect for you now. And Jimmy, just a little bit, shouldn't be doing that, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Come on.
He has no responsibility over what happened, but he has responsibility over how he can handle that situation.
Yeah.
People need to stop hitting people, man. We're already going to have the fucking cane. We don't need any more trials. Okay, Masvidal and Colby aren't fighting right now. If this fucking court case lawsuit wasn't going on, we might have had Colby versus Chimaev. We might be getting Poirier versus Nate Diaz. The MMA gods would not have been angry. Brian Ortega's shoulder maybe doesn't pop out 2 weeks ago. Aspinall's knee maybe doesn't blow up.
Yeah.
A lot of they think that because I went to the bathroom during a penalty shootout in 2006, that also is, oh no, I've lost Josh. Please let it not be from a power cut.
No,
Please let it just be that he can still see me and we're still recording and everything is still good. Because that was such a good segment. News segment. That was one of the best news segments we ever did.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah.
Please tell me we didn't lose that.
No, we didn't. I can hear and see you guys the whole time when these things happen. It's only if the power goes that we lose the recording. But I don't know why VDO is kicking us out. But you were basically. I'm not capturing anything from the group chat. The group chat, the control room. You being able to see the virtual camera. All of that's just there, so you guys can hear me. But I bring it in as a browser link. So as long as I'm connected to the internet and you guys are connected to the internet, it will just keep recording everything you guys are saying and doing. And when I have a power cut, everything goes. But to you guys, it would just completely look the same, I guess.
Well, considering that we talked about all of our key points, and we wouldn't want another power cut to kill a solid 30-minute segment of news that we've covered, I think we can call that a adieu to our first true isolated section of the MMA Split News.
This isn't the first. We've released videos as the MMA Split News before as well.
Well, I smoke a lot of weed and I don't remember it,
right,
Josh.
I'm not going to put this bit in, but I was going to say, like, I can either cut where it happened, or do you want to quickly do Bellator? I mean, literally,
we can talk about Bellator.
2 minutes. Just talk about Jason Jackson and.
Are we still recording now?
Diego Lima. Yeah.
Fuck it, leave it all in. And Bellator. Jason Jackson won. It wasn't fun to watch. People left early. It sucked.
It wasn't fun to watch. Ass kicking machine can mean many different things, and he absolutely bossed it. He controlled Lima from bell to bell. Didn't drop a single round. And I loved at the end the call outs. It was like, I'm calling out MVP, but first I want to either beat Storley, take his interim belt, or I want to wait for Asimov to come back and take his belt, and then I'll fight MVP. It's like, yeah, so you kind of figure that that's not really the call out then, is it, Jason? Fuck it. He had so much energy about him in the post-fight presser. I like the guy.
He's calling out fights.
He's
ahead.
Looking, yeah,
fight ahead.
Yeah, when I win the belt, which there's no way I'm not going to win, and actually I kind of like his chances in the Storley fight.
He matched up well with Storley.
He matches up okay with Asimov, but just not as well. On paper, the champ is the stronger fighter, so...
He's fucking big though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a fucking big, strong boy. I mean, I think Douglas Lima felt like he was, moving up to middleweight again at certain times in there.
Yeah, it was a rough night for him. But you know what? He's had his time in the sun, mate. That's the way I see it.
Do you think Douglas Lima's just losing a bit of motivation? Like, You've been the top dog at Bellator. You're not necessarily always fighting killers. You've been the champ 3 times. You've done the whole I've lost my belt, I've won it again, I've lost my belt, I've won it again. You know, you went for the double champ thing that didn't work out, and now all of a sudden it's I just don't know if he really has at his age the motivation to kind of make, you know, close that gap to what effectively is becoming a very strong, grapple heavy top of the welterweight division of Bellator.
Yeah, I mean, he's been one of the best fighters in the world at 170 for a long time. After losing to Musasi, I don't want to keep saying Asimov, it's Amasov. Loses his belt to Amasov at welterweight as well. And then the losses to Page and Jackson's the first time he's lost to someone in a long time that wasn't a champion or wasn't going to go on to be a champion. So it'd be interesting to see if MVP and Jackson can avoid doing him dirty and go get that belt, keep his losing streak a little bit more relevant. I don't think so either, man. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's 4 losses on the bounce, where he's just been absolutely manhandled, apart from the Page one. That was a close one.
It's not just that, dude. Even when he re-won the belt against Rory McDonald the second time, fuck me, was Rory McDonald not Rory McDonald in that fight?
Yeah, both of them, I think, had a little bit taken out of him, to be honest.
You know, so it is what it is. Usman got a big win though.
Oh man, yeah, Usman Nurmagomedov looked really fucking good against. Fuck, I can't think of his name off the top of my head now. Chris Gonzalez, yeah. Piecing him up, ends up on the feet, much like his brother Umar. Fights in the UFC bantamweight division, of course. More of a kickboxer than your typical Nurmagomedov, but they all have some grappling to him, and he looks fucking good everywhere. It was also Marcelo Gollum against Davian Franklin. It was a back and forth, absolute war at heavyweight. That was a real fun fight to open up the main card. There obviously were a shit ton of other fights. I've only watched the main cards, and frankly, I get the impression our Bellator stuff doesn't get as much love. That's why I've rolled it into the news this week. But if I'm wrong, you guys want us to talk a little bit more about Bellator, PFL, Cage Warriors, LFA, 1FC. Engage with us. Let us know. Leave some comments.
I may not watch all of the Bellator, but Josh will, and I can ask him questions about it.
Yeah. In my defense,
it's basically the role that we want Sly to understand he can still do, even if he hasn't seen the fights.
But yeah, I would love to open up discussions a little bit more. But guys, we put a lot of time into this show, into this podcast. So if there is anything, if you have been watching it regularly with us, you know, we're not asking you to go out and get 1,000 subscribers for us. Just leave a comment. Tell us what you'd like to see.
Yeah.
We
and
might
if
read
you know
it.
if you know people that actually like MMA, recommend them. Don't just tell people to subscribe if they're never going to watch us. Like, if they have an interest and they want to hear
3
idiots in their 30s, 3 idiots in their 30s, well, 2 that are here regularly, idiots in their 30s, talking about a sport that they've never competed in professionally themselves, we're the champ.
I don't know why, but like, this specific sport we've never competed in professionally kind of leaves that wiggle room that we've been like moonlighting as professional basketball players and shit like that. You know, I've got my Antetokounmpo jersey on today.
And we have technically fought.
Well. Yeah, but
it just
not
wasn't
professionally.
Not professionally.
No.
On that note, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's move on over to the pick show. Guys,
pick show dropping soon.
Check it out.
UFC 277, big card. Enjoy that. Look out for that. Thanks for watching the video, and as always, by Dave, by Laurie, by Trufe.
Bye, Dave.